Yeah. I enjoyed that. That was a very enjoyable film. I approve. I wonder what the actual Anastasia was like. Was she as kind and loving and musical as this in real life? Let's take a look, shall we? Okay, so, Anastasia Romanoff. Tsar Nicholas was led into a room by his family. I mean, I just don't understand how they could make a movie like that. It is unforgivable. The history is too horrible. It's unforgivable that they could make a children's movie out of this. I know. Huh. What? Oh no, that's a meat feast with everything on top. Yes. Thank you. How long would that be? 40 minutes. Okay. Thanks very much. That movie, honestly. G'day little nippers and welcome to the show! Don Bluth. Some consider him the animation king, creating masterpieces like American Tail, The Secret of Nim, and also having a huge hand in creative games like that annoying game that won't be mentioned, as I have spent many wasted hours leading up to the final bit and only keep getting the same bleeding one wrong every single time. Sorry, as I was saying, Don Bluth created many excellent and some questionable pieces in his time, but whether a great masterpiece or not, there has always been that gorgeous animation style to accompany all of them. However, due to the rising fame of Disney, with smash hit after smash hit, Don Bluth and director Gary Goldman, not Gary Oldman, decided to make a beautifully animated but nevertheless a little strange movie called Anastasia. Now let me be clear, this is certainly a well-directed and animated film, but the premise is one of the strangest concepts I've ever seen in a film. You have a children's film, based on the very real history and fate of the last Tsar of Russia, Nicholas II, and his family, who were all killed during the revolution of...
The year was 1916.
Actually, no, it was in 1917 that the revolutions occurred, and it wasn't until 1918 when the Tsar's family were killed. But still, continuing on this strange premise, they made Grigory Rasputin an evil wizard who placed a curse on the Tsar because they betrayed him? Okay, what? The real Rasputin actually had a good relationship with the royal family and died way before the revolution took place. But still, as the film continues along this apparent alternate history, Anastasia meets up with two guys to try and remember her past and find her family, who were living in Paris. Okay, pardon? In actual reality, the Empress Dowager Maria Fedorovna spent her exile in London to stay with her sister and not Paris, then moved back to her native home in Denmark. And sadder still, when she was told about the deaths of her son and family, she never believed they were dead until her own death. But still, Rasputin is back and, oh, what? Okay, you know what, forget it. It's clear this movie wants to do a Pocahontas and not include any actual history in it whatsoever. Anastasia's found? Why not? She reclaims the Russian throne from the communist Russia. Our realism survey says... Yeah, because the Soviet Union was all for rebuilding monarchy, wasn't it? Then, after a big fight with Rasputin toward the end, providing some quite disturbing imagery, Anastasia and that guy Dmitri abandon the life of royalty to be with each other. Isn't that sweet?
It's romantic. It's a perfect ending.
No, it really was not. This ending and story is about as far from perfect as you can get. This film is a kid's movie, I get that, and focuses more on the fairy tale aspect than the real life aspect. I get that. But the trouble is, when you base a fairy tale on real events of real history, it then loses some of the believability. And as you should know by now, I can't stand films that do that. On an entertainment level, I guess it's okay, and despite the bizarre storyline and plot the film follows, it still has a creative, animated journey that touches on elements of things that are, to be honest, pretty good life lessons. Always learn to love, family is important, all that kind of stuff. So, I find myself in a bit of a bizarre position with this film. It's a kind of battle of contrast here. On the one hand, it's a good and well-told story, but on the other, it isn't historically accurate at all by any stretch of the imagination. It uses elements of fantasy, but on the other hand, it has real place names like the Peterhof Palace and real figures of history like the Russian ballet, Soviet soldiers and the Dowager Empress. It's beautifully animated to suit a child-friendly environment, but that can quickly change to one of horror toward the end. So, honestly, this is a very grey area. Just like Don Bluth films in general, for every bad one, there is a good one. And for every bad point of Anastasia, there seems to be a good point to counteract it. So I guess I'll score this film 6.5 out of 10 Croc points. The bad parts slightly giving way to the more or less good and relatable characters, as well as the decent and well-told story. Take care, little nippers. Be sure to like, subscribe, follow me on Twitter, and, if you can, support me on Patreon. See you in a while, crocodiles!
It's a perfect ending.